Hi and welcome. Today I'm going to be making a tofu-free eggless scramble. And I'm going to be using some very unconventional ingredients to make my eggless scramble. And I'm just going to be sharing things that I've just discovered in my kitchen that really works. This is such a simple, easy recipe, guys. And it's got the consistency of egg and it absolutely tastes like an egg scramble. It's delicious. One of the ingredients that I'm going to be using is chickpea flour. Now, chickpea flour is a great source of protein. It's especially good for those who are not eating meat because it's a good alternative. It's high in protein and it also contains iron, calcium and magnesium. Now, there's a really special ingredient that really gives this a great twist and it gives it the egg taste, and that's black salt. And I found it in powder form, so it disseminates really well in this recipe. Now, black salt is an amazing source of antioxidants. It also contains iron, calcium and magnesium, and it's low in sodium, which is great. And the chickpea flour, of course, is gluten-free, so if you're suffering with allergies, this is a great recipe for you. So let's get started and I'll show you what other ingredients I'm adding to this. So here I've got chickpea flour. I'm going to be using 50 grams for one portion. I'm going to use a tablespoon of onion powder and a teaspoon of black salt. We're going to be using some water for the batter and just half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Right, so let's get started in moving these ingredients to one side so I can show you how I'm going to put this together. And what we want is to form a batter. And then this is the last ingredient. Sorry, I should have said. This ingredient that I've got here is coconut oil, and that's what I'm going to be using to just simply brush the pan. Right, so here's the bowl. And we're going to start by adding 50 grams of our chickpea flour to the bowl. I'm going to put in my half teaspoon of cayenne pepper there. Tablespoon of onion powder. And 1 teaspoon of our black salt. Just going to mix the dry ingredients together. And then we're going to add our water. Just make a little well in the middle. And just eyeball it, guys. Just put a little bit at a time and give it a mix. It has a very eggy smell, the black salt, which gives it this really convincing feel of actually doing an egg recipe. I just added in a little bit more water there. Let's give that a thorough mix. Just add a little bit more. And I've used, that so far is 100 mils of water. Let's give it a thorough mix. And that's about the consistency you want. As you can see, it's not too thick and it's not too thin. Right, so next we're going to turn on the pan and we're going to warm it up on a medium heat. But first of all, we're just going to brush the pan with a little bit of coconut oil. And we'll just let that heat through a bit before we add our batter. Now you can do this without oil in a dry pan, but what you'll find with the recipe is the eggy consistency, you know, that softness from the egg, will be slightly drier on the outside but have that soft eggy consistency on the inside, but taste just as authentic as a scramble. So adding the, oops, the heat's just gone off. Let me put that on again. Adding the oil to the pan by just brushing it will just keep it nice and moist like an egg scramble. But of course you can do this without the oil and still have the amazing taste of a scrambled egg. So I'll just heat that up. Let me just turn it up slightly so that I can just get it to warm up quickly for you. And then I'll turn it down to a medium heat. Right, so that's warm enough. So I'm just going to start adding in all the batter there. And we're going to start with mixing it up before it sort of forms into a pancake. Quickly give it a good mix. Break it up in the pan with your spatula as well, so you get those scrambled egg-like pieces. Just break it up, mix it up. You really don't need a lot of oil. It's just a little bit to just keep it semi-moist. And as you can see, look, it's already going into sort of clumps already. But this is so soft, it's like an egg-like texture, which is amazing. Just going to give it bit more of a toss in the pan. Great.
Good afternoon, Anthony and Carol.
Oh, hello, Yumi. So Yumi's saying hello. Thank you for coming on and watching, Yumi. It's good to have you here. Very unusual recipe, but I'm telling you, this really works. I've come up with so many ideas over the years when I was creating different dishes to keep my children interested in plant-based eating. And if anybody knows my story from my daughter who suffered a terrible illness, this was her, desire to go vegan, and it helped her, really helped her to get through a mental breakdown from bullying at school. And one of the last things, actually, ironically, that I gave up was eggs, because I was in my kitchen one day. We were eating plant-based pretty much. We were just kind of like eating a lot more healthy, fresh food. And I was about to crack open an egg to make an omelette. And my daughter said, "Mum, why don't we go vegan?" I nearly dropped the eggs on the floor. And I said to her, "What are we going to eat? What am I going to eat?" So I've come up with so many different ways of creating some of the things that I used to love. And this is one of them, and it really works. So I'm super excited to show you this today. Look at that. Now, if that doesn't look like a convincing scramble, or what? And I'm going to show you under the camera the texture. Now that is actually cooked through. Right. That is it. So I'm going to turn that off now. I'm going to take it over here and I'm going to plate it up. Just to show you what this looks like, guys. And I've just got some baby roasted tomatoes, some cherry roasted tomatoes. And I've got some sourdough spelt bread to go with it. And I don't know about you, but I love to just drizzle my toast with a little bit of olive oil. And a pinch of dried basil, just to make a nice herb toast. Put a little bit on the egg. And that is it. Honestly, guys, I've actually should have had a fork, but let me just show you some. My hands are clean. That is soft, just like a scramble. Lovely and soft. It's got a very, very convincing eggy taste from the black salt. And I've used black salt powder, which is excellent for this recipe. So you don't even have the black flakes. But even if it did, it would just look like ground black pepper. But that, let me just squeeze that in my fingers there. Look how soft that is. And it's cooked through. And that is it. That is the finished result of my tofu-free scramble, which is absolutely great for a Sunday breakfast. Well, that's it, folks. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back again tomorrow at 6 o'clock to bring you more tips and health information to help you along your healthy living journey. Thank you for watching.